Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coaches Show. I am Jeremy Kennedy, filling in for Adam Gore, who is on his way to the studio here in Bruce after a long and hard Friday night. We have been covering for you at TV7, a lot of games going on in the area. And first, I will run down the scores for you and give you a little bit of an idea what we're going to be talking about tonight. Adam will join us shortly, but until he does, let's update you on some of the scores going on in tonight's action. Aberdeen defeats Winona 30-14. Amory over Caledonia 28-0. Baldwin 35, Calhoun City 7. That was the game I'll be at, and when we talk about that, that'll be the first game we'll talk about, and we'll also kind of run down some scores and some stats for you from that game as well. Belmont defeats Kossuth 42-6. Moorville over South Pontotoc 35-21. Coldwater 22, Thrasher 6. Corinth 42, Ripley 41. Hatley 18, Mantachie 7. Itawamba AHS 35, North Pontotoc 7. Lafayette defeats North Panola 55-6. Morville over South Pontotoc 35-21. Pontotoc defeated New Albany tonight 31-14. Shannon over Tishomingo County 26-0. Smithville defeated Vardaman 28-19. That's the game Adam Gore attended tonight, and he will be here, and we'll talk to him about that game in particular. Walnut defeated Bruce 34-12. Stone County over Pearl River Central 45-0. Taylorsville over Enterprise Clark 35-21. Tylertown defeated Hazelhurst 21-0. University Christian defeated Newton County 34-6. Warren Central over Greenville Weston 12-0. Weston 18, Hines AHS 6. West Jones 13, Macomb 12, West Lounge 26, Hamilton 20, and those were some of the scores that we have had for you tonight. A couple more, one more that we'll pass along for you. West Point defeated New Hope 35-8. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the game I attended. Brother Patrick Collins and I had the call, and you heard it here live. It was Baldwin, and they were playing Calhoun City, and we will come back and we'll talk about that one and kind of give you a little bit of an idea about how that one changed from one half to another. But we'll take you to a break. Let you word from our sponsors and be back right after this. Welcome back. I'm Jeremy Kennedy here on the Coaches Show, filling in for Adam Gore, who will be here with you in about 15 minutes. We're going to kind of swap places. He'll be coming in, I'll be coming out, and then he'll be talking to you about the Smithville-Vardaman ball game, which ended in a 28-19 win for Smithville over the Vardaman Rams. But right now, I'll talk to you a little bit about the game that I saw tonight. Brother Patrick Collins and I had the call with Stephen Chris there as the cameraman out at Baldwin. They played a very good and very talented Calhoun City ball club, but unfortunately for the Wildcats, they came up on the very short end of the stick as the Bearcats won 35-7 behind an impressive second-half performance of 28 points from this Bearcats offense. Tanner Gaines has been the quarterback for the Bearcats all year long and has really struggled, along with that offense, to put some points on the board and move the football. Tonight, much like against the Boonville ball club that they faced, the Boonville Blue Devils that they faced in their first game of the year, they had the ball a lot in the Calhoun City territory, had it 9 times inside Calhoun City territory. Unfortunately, not until late in the second half did they really capitalize on that. And the key really for that ball game was the play of Tanner Gaines in the second half. He finished with 122 yards rushing. He finished with 96 yards passing, but 3 passing touchdowns. And what was a 7-0 game at halftime became a 35-7 rout in favor of the Baldwin Bearcats. And taking a look at some of these stats, and I mentioned about Tanner Gaines having 122 yards rushing. For the Bearcats, that was really it, with the exception of number 8, Lorenzo Hill, who had 78 yards and a touchdown. And one of the reasons why Baldwin was able to run the football so well and why they had over 200 yards rushing on the night was because of the way they attacked this Calhoun City defense. Instead of running right up the middle against that big and powerful Calhoun City defensive front, what the Bearcats were able to do was use their speed on the edge at their skill position with Hill and with Grice at the tailback spot, with also Estes at times, with Pinson, and a lot of those guys, and also Patterson. They were able to get to the edge, and with reverses, a lot of times they ran the end around with Hill around the left side, and he was able to get some good yardage, cut it back in times, and get some big gains. As a matter of fact, that's how he scored his touchdown, was an end around the left side. So this offense did a tremendous job running the football on the edge. Gaines had a lot of his yardage on the option keeper as well. Would fake the belly give, come around the end, and that play was extremely successful for the Bearcats on the night. Calhoun City had no answer for it, either first half or second half. And you take a look at this Calhoun City ball club, and when Adam Gore and I talked about this team at the beginning of the year in our preseason show, one of the things we talked about was whether or not this team would be hungry enough to repeat as 1A champs. And of course, they moved up to 2A, repeating as North champs to get down to Jackson would be a very tall order. They certainly have the talent to do so, but you have to wonder about the inexperience that they have. They lost a lot. They've got a lot of talent, but unfortunately, a 35-7 defeat tonight would suggest that they certainly have some problems. They've got to be able to run the ball consistently. The ball and Bearcat defense, as has been talked about on this show and numerous shows throughout this year, has been talked about favorably. They have done a tremendous job trying to bail out this ball and Bearcat offense. Fortunately for the Bearcats tonight, they were rewarded with a very offensive-laden second half by the Bearcats. And so when you take a look at this ball club and you take a look at their schedule the rest of the way, they now have a region win under their belt. This is a team that is going to be dangerous and can factor late into the season. Forget about what you've seen so far. Forget about what you've heard so far and their struggles. This is a team, if they continue to run the football as effectively as they did tonight, now they get Tanner Gaines playing with some confidence. He can throw the ball down the field. If they'll open it up a little bit more, use their skill people in vertical routes and end arounds, and spread the football around, this is an offense that will be very difficult to stop. They've already had one of the more salty defenses in high school football this year, certainly in the north part of the state. Now, if they get the offense going, this is going to be an awfully good football team down the stretch, especially if they continue to gel and play well. For Calhoun City, it's back to the drawing board. This was my first chance to see J.R. Jennings tonight, and he did not disappoint. 10 of 21, 175, and a touchdown. Now, although he completed under 50% of his passes, some of those were key drops, and some of those you have to credit the ball and Bearcat defense. But unfortunately for Calhoun City, they were unable to establish a consistent running game, and that killed them all night long. They had less than 75 yards on the ground, and were led by Hall, the fullback, number 24, who had right around 29 yards. Also, number 1, Avery Hill, had 57 yards. So he was actually their leader. Avery Hill was their leader with 57 yards rushing. But J.R. Jennings, as well as he played and as good as he looked at times, also looked as uncomfortable and seemed to struggle at times as well. Not until the last drive of the first half for Calhoun City and the touchdown drive for the Wildcats in the third quarter did they seem comfortable and in a rhythm offensively. They've got to get in a little better rhythm. Running the football will help, but I think it would be advantageous for the Wildcats to come out more, put Jennings in the shotgun, 3 or 4 wides, and see if they can throw the football down the field. I've often said and still believe that the most susceptible unit on a high school defense is the secondary. If you can throw the football and put adequate pressure on the secondary to cover 3 or 4 receivers, maybe a tight end, you will be extremely successful in high school football. If Calhoun City can do that, if they can put pressure on the secondary, then they'll be able to continue to move the football down the field with one of the better quarterbacks who's got one of the better arms that I've seen this year. So for Calhoun City, it's not a time to panic. It's a time for reflection to go back and correct the mistakes. For Baldwin, it's a time to really take this and move forward. Take the next step. Win the next one. Continue to be a factor in this region. And if they continue to run the football and they can get Tanner Gaines to open up the offense, along with that defense continuing to play well, this will be an extremely tough club to beat later on in the year. So that will do it for the coverage of the Baldwin-Calhoun City game. As I mentioned, Smithville defeated Vardaman 28-19. Adam Gore will be back here with you for that. I am going to go home. It's been a rather long night here. Stephen Chris has done a great job keeping us on the air. And we'll definitely see you next week. We'll be checking in throughout the week, have some updates for you in a lot of these teams. But until Adam Gore sees you a little bit, I'm Jeremy Kennedy. We'll take you to a break and come back with Adam right after these messages.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, I'm no longer Jeremy Kennedy here on the Coaches Show. I'm Adam Gore. I'm joined by Brandon Speck of the Monroe Journal. Monroe360.com is where you can catch up with him. Brandon and I were out at the Vardaman game tonight, and Brandon, we saw an intense rivalry. It wasn't pretty. Both teams, I believe, combined for nearly 215 yards total in penalties on 22 penalties, and then 11 turnovers. It wasn't pretty, but Smithville gets the win.
No, it wasn't pretty at all, man. I mean, like I said, there was a ton of penalties and probably as much marching backwards as there was marching forward for a while there. But Smithville got that leg up that Coach Taggart had talked about with that win, and it makes his road a lot smoother, and it makes Coach Justin Hollis' road a little bit tougher, but definitely something they can come back from.
Absolutely. I had a chance to talk to Coach Hollis on the way home. He wasn't very pleased with his overall team's performance, but the difference in this ball game, and he said it himself, he said the offensive line of Smithville pretty much just whooped his guys up front, and that was the difference in the ball game.
It was, and you mentioned it on the broadcast a couple of times how big those guys are. I mean, I think they average somewhere around 245-ish. And they got a couple 6'1" to 6'3", and big Zach Stevenson, and those guys just create holes. When you've got that size of a line and runners like those Freeman boys, Antoine and Datron, it makes it tough to combat.
Absolutely. This is Brandon Speck of the Monroe Journal. Monroe360.com is where you can check his stuff out there. Joining us here on the Coaches Show. Brandon, another big win in Monroe County. Aberdeen 30, Winona 14. Someone sent me that final. I sent a text back saying it's at the end of the first quarter. So Aberdeen, I guess you could say, struggled tonight, picking up the 16-point win, not dropping 70 again this week.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Duncan a little bit after we left Smithville tonight, and he said after the 73-point win, he said they didn't have a great week of practice. They're pretty good, but not as good as he'd like for it to be. And I think they come out and struggle a little bit because of that. And I think Aaron Andrews, the quarterback, was somewhere around the neighborhood of 250 yards on 18 of 21 or 18 of 23 passes. A good night, but after you put up 73, it's kind of hard to encore anything, you know. So
yeah.
We'll kind of move on to Water Valley with them next week.
Absolutely, that could be an interesting game there. Water Valley picks up a 7-0 win over Nettleton. One of those games I talked to you during the Nettleton slow pitch softball game. I picked as my upset special of the week. Water Valley, a very good defense. Their offense isn't quite clicking on the same level as their defense right now, but a big win there for the Blue Devils. Second loss of the season, for Nettleton, or is it the first loss?
That's their second loss. They lost at North Pontotoc.
That's right. So the second loss of the season. More importantly, the first loss in the region. Talk about Nettleton, and if you had a chance to talk to anyone from that game tonight.
No, I haven't. I had a couple people out there watching, but I haven't talked to any of them. The worst part about that, I would think, is losing that first division game, because you've got to assume that Aberdeen's going to have that top spot. I mean, the way they're playing, of course, the Water Valley and Aberdeen game's a big determiner of that region, but those spots are going to be hard to come by. I mean, you're looking at one of those regions where you may have three teams for sure, and the four spots up for grabs. So losing that first game is not good, but I really think Nelson will come back. I think they're a solid playoff team, so they'll be fine.
Absolutely. Amory picks up their first win of the season, 28-0 over Caledonia. A big win there for Amory and the crew. They came close a couple of times this season, finally breaking through. And as we always said, Amory's a dangerous team. Coach Pat Bird gets things turned around, and especially does it when it counts the most. The first win of the season, but more importantly, 1-0 in division play.
Yeah, he does. He did it last year, and he's done it in years past. And, they always play that rough schedule to open the season, but division comes, and his guys turn it on. And last week in all the post-game interviews, coaches were saying how this is a new season and the first games didn't really matter. I agree and disagree with that to a point. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying the first 5 or 6 don't matter, because you're developing as a team. But they are right about this is a new season. So the teams that are 1-0 tonight, they're off to a good start no matter what their record was coming into tonight. So Amory, I expect them to kind of raise up to a little bit of a new level. They're still young and they'll still struggle, but they're going to be fine.
And Hatley picks up an 18-7 win over Manatee. This is a Hatley team, Brendan. I told you after about week 1 or week 2, I think they had a legit shot at 7 wins this season and doing pretty good, marching in that direction.
Yeah, I mean they're at 5 wins now. Is that right?
They're at 5 wins now.
So you're looking at 2 more, and there are some games left on the schedule I think they can win. And if Hatley sneaks up on the right people, they'll be in the playoffs. And for a team that someone can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've ever been to the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, that's going to be a very high level of satisfaction for those guys, and well-deserved.
Absolutely. Of course, some of the other games of course, we've already talked about the Smithville 28-19 win over Vardaman. Just going to throw out a few other scores to you, see if what's your thoughts on them. The Morville Troopers, I think they go to 6-1 over the season. Sort of another story, kind of like Hatley. They get a 35-21 win over South Pontotoc. Pontotoc comes back and wins 31-14. You and I were keeping up with that game throughout the night. Pontotoc fell behind early, but Coach Dampier rallies the troops and gets a big win there in division play.
Yeah, that had surprised me when they were down. I think they were down 14-3 maybe. Was that close? And that kind of caught me off guard. That's a pretty good football team. I mean, people were worried about Aberdeen when they got beat by Pontotoc, but that Pontotoc team is a solid football team. I mean, they're a contender for sure. I think at least in the north.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. Of course, one of their big teams they'll have to fight for in that will be Itawamba AHS. They were 35-7 winners over North Pontotoc. A lot of North Pontotoc fans felt good coming into that game, but I think got slapped with a pretty stout dose of reality tonight against a very good Itawamba AHS team. I think they go on the road next week to take on Shannon. But North Pontotoc still a team that's very well a contender for the playoffs.
Yeah, and when I said that, I don't mean any slight toward North Pontotoc. That's a heck of a football team. I watched them beat Nelson, and they can muddle the field. They get a good offense with Joe Robbins, the running back. They're good, a good back, and Bailey, the quarterback, who really knows how to run that system. And I didn't think they were ready to compete with Itawamba. And Itawamba is a humongous team with a lot of skill players that are probably going to get some, not probably will get some D1 looks. They just weren't quite ready for that. But that's a good football team out in Ekro, and they got some big things ahead of them.
Well, Brandon, you and I talked about it also tonight while we were wrapping up things in Smithville. First time in 12 years Calhoun County has seen an 0-4 night. Walnut beats Bruce 34-12. Calhoun Academy loses to Central Academy, who was the number 3 ranked team in 8-man football, 36-6. But probably the biggest shocker of the night is going to be the 35-7 win Baldwin over Calhoun City. It was one of those games I thought could go either way, 50-50 chance on who can win it because both teams were kind of limping into this matchup. But, man, apparently looking at these stats here from Jeremy Kennedy, who was on the show earlier, you're looking at Tanner Gaines passing for 7 of 18 for 96 yards, but more impressively, rushing for 122.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I thought they could go either way like you did. I didn't think it would go one way with that much of a lopsided score. I mean, I don't know. Baldwin has struggled. I thought they would struggle this year, not as much as they have, but I didn't expect Calhoun City to struggle anywhere remotely close to what they've struggled. I mean, it still amazes me to see them in the situation they're in when they came off last year in Jackson, and we all thought they'd be the team to beat even at 2A. So I don't know what's going on out there, but Baldwin, hey, they're 1-0 in their division, so they're perfectly happy with that and try to make a run at it.
Absolutely. Not for sure who Baldwin has next week. Of course, it will be a region game there as well. Brandon, I appreciate you taking time out of your night to give us a call, man. I know Friday nights for us are crazy, but I know you're a lot like me. Glad to see the 7 o'clock start time.
Yeah, very thrilled to the 7 o'clock start time. You get up there and those late deadlines can get you. So we're all there. We'll start them at 6 if Dr. Parker's watching. We'll start. We'll for 6 if you want to put them out there at that time.
Absolutely. If I say just put them out there anytime before 7:30, and we'll be happy. Well, Brandon, once again, remind everybody when the paper comes out there in Monroe County, as well as your other sites. You also run the OleMissNation.com. People keep up with Ole Miss football there as well. Sort of just run through all that you do.
Yeah, the Ole Miss site, like you mentioned, and you can catch all the high school stuff on Monroe360.com. Our paper, the Monroe Journal, comes out on Wednesday, so if you're around the county, you can pick that up, or You can subscribe on the website too, so it's Monroe360.com. I know Gore links a lot of stuff from the GoreSports.net, so you'll find those linked back and forth a lot of times. Feel free to check them out anytime. And if you don't mind, man, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my preacher, Brother Bob Conti. Brother Bob and Kathy watched the show on Friday night. Their daughter is married to Coach Ron Price in New Albany, so they're watchers of the show. So if they're listening, we said hello.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate them watching. And anytime, Brandon, you got any shout-outs, you're more than welcome to sling them out to everybody. And, Brandon, I know you got a youngin' waiting on you at home, and Jessica, too, so we're going to let you go, buddy, and have safe travels back to Guntown, and we'll talk to you later, buddy.
You got it, man. Thanks, y'all.
And that was Brandon Speck of the Monroe Journal, Monroe360.com. The OleMissNation.com as well is where you can get stuff from Brandon. We owe you a commercial break. When we come back, we'll go down some of the scores throughout the night. We sort of touched on those in that section with Brandon. So we're going to take you to a break and come back with more here on the Coaches Show right after this. Adam Gore. We're going to take you to some highlights right now from the Bruce Walnut football game that Steve Witten shot for us. His homecoming night out at Bruce. While we do that, we're going to run down some scores from throughout the area. Aberdeen 30-14 winners over Winona. Ackerman picks up a 23-0 win over J.Z. George. Amory 28-0 winners over Caledonia. As we talked about, Baldwin 35-7 winners over Callan City. Belmont beats Kossuth 42-6. Charleston a 43-20 winner over Louisville. Coldwater 22-6 winners over Thrasher. Corinth picks up a 1-point win 42-41 over Ripley. Durant downs Shaw 27-6. Faulkner over Biggersville 23-20. Hatley 18-7 winners over Mantachie. Moorville 38, Saltillo 6. Itawamba AHS picks up a 35-7 win over North Pontotoc, and Lafayette County downs North Panola 55-6. Morville gets a win over South Pontotoc 35-21. North Delta Academy wins 40-6 over Marvel Academy out of Arkansas. Noxubee County wins 38-0 over Kosciuszko. As a ball game you'll be able to see today at 4 o'clock. Pontotoc storms back in the second half, picks up a 31-14 win over New Albany. Roosevelt 28-16 winners over Byhalia. Shannon blanks Tishomingo County 26-0. Smithville 28-19 winners over Vardaman, a game that you'll see coming up at 1 o'clock. A game that was aired on WLOV, the Y'all versus Us series. South Panola picks up a 34-6 win over Olive Branch. St. Joseph out of Greenville picks up a 14-8 win over Drew. Starkville beats Tupelo 14-7. Walnut beats Bruce 34-12. And then Water Valley beats Nettleton 7-0, and Central Academy over Calhoun Academy by the score of 36-0. We do want to remind you that coming up throughout the rest of the day, our 9 o'clock game will be the Calhoun City Baldwin game. At 1 o'clock, we'll have the Vardaman versus Smithville, and at 4 o'clock, we'll have the Pontotoc New Albany game. Homecoming can also be seen in that broadcast. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Coaches Show. Speaking of homecoming, we're going to take you now to the Bruce High School homecoming. Steve Witten went out and shot those along with those highlights. You can see more of those highlights after the Vardaman game today at the conclusion of that one. So stay tuned, folks, for the homecoming and much more here on a full weekend of W07BN Sports. I'm Adam Gore for Jeremy Kennedy and Stephen Chris. We'll see you next time, folks.
Opportunity to say thank you for joining us tonight. Freshman maid, Morgan Ellard. Car owner is Andrea McKnight. The car driver is Barrett Wooten. Sophomore maid, Ashley Hubbard. Car owner, Gina Wade Gunter. And the car driver is Justin Hawkins. Sophomore maid, Ashlyn Lee. Car owner and car driver is Chuck Lovern. Is Richard Jackson, and the car driver is Nefrita Armstrong. Junior maid, Gabby Bearden. Car owner and driver is George Chandler. Senior maid, Charletha Armstrong. Car owner and driver, Carl Patterson. Senior maid, Xanteria Edwards. Senior maid, Molly Helms. Car owner, Larry and Robin Parker. Car driver, Caleb Hanley. Senior maid, Ann Claire Mullen. Car owner, Chuck Nestor. And the car driver is David Westmoreland. Our flower girls for the evening are the Bruce High School cheerleaders, seniors Taylor Cotton, Kimberly Walker, Jessie Hubbard, and Chelsea Owen. Junior Hope Tunnel, sophomore Cameron McCormick, freshman Jerianna Aaron and Brittany Griffin. Freshman maid, Morgan Ellard. Morgan is the daughter of Justin and Holly Ellard. Morgan is a Bruce High School cheerleader and was a junior high cheerleader for 2 years. She has been a member of the Lady Trojan softball team for the past 3 years and is a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Morgan was awarded Scholar Athlete for the last 2 years and was recently inducted into the Math MCT2 Hall of Fame. She is escorted tonight by her father, Justin Ellard. Sophomore maid, Ashley Hubbard. Ashley is the daughter of Angie Parker and Ramey Gill and Donnie and Melissa Hubbard. Ashley is a member of TSA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, the Speech and Debate Club, and the Bruce Fine Arts Juniorettes. She has been a member of the Lady Trojan softball team for 3 years, where she was awarded Scholar Athlete all 3 years. Ashley has also served on the annual staff for 3 years and was voted freshman class favorite. She is a member of the First Baptist Church Youth Group and the Calhoun County 4-H Saddle Club, where she barrel races. Ashley is being escorted tonight by her brother, Eric Parker. Sophomore maid, Ashlyn Lee. Ashlyn is the daughter of Mark and Suzette Tedford and Jonathan Lee. Ashlyn has been a Bruce High School cheerleader for 2 years. She has served on the annual staff for 3 years, was on the Lady Trojan softball team during 8th and 9th grade, and part of the color guard team her freshman year. She was awarded Scholar Athlete the past 2 years and won 3rd place in the local youth short story contest. Ashlyn is a member of the Speech and Debate Team, TSA, and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. She has been elected Class Cutie for the past 2 years and was part of the homecoming court last year. When not participating in activities at school, Ashlyn enjoys dancing with Robin Harrelson, being a part of the Bruce First Baptist Church Youth Group and Sacrifice of Praise team, and serving in the Bruce Fine Arts Juniorettes. Ashlyn is being escorted tonight by her grandfather, Daniel Lee. Junior maid, Asia Sharice Armstrong. Asia is the daughter of Johnny and Sherry Armstrong. Asia was a member of the Lady Trojan basketball team where she received a Scholar Athlete award. She is very active in her church and Sunday school class. She enjoys time with her friends and family. She strives to love and be helpful to everyone that she is around. In her spare time, Asia enjoys doing hair and reading books in order to improve her vocabulary so that she can reach her goal of graduating with honors from Bruce High School. Her favorite quote is, "It's not what they call you, it's what you answer to." Asia prides herself in the fact that she tries to keep a positive attitude at all times. Asia is being escorted tonight by her father, Johnny Armstrong. Junior maid, Gabby Bearden. Gabby is the daughter of Mary Bearden. Gabby has been a cheerleader at Bruce High School for the last 2 years. She received the Scholar Athlete Award for 2 years. Gabby is a second-year member of the Allied Health Program at the Calhoun County Vocational Center. She was elected Best Personality for 2 years and voted Class Cutie for her sophomore year and Jolliest Junior this year. Gabby is also a member of the Beta Club. On her off time, Gabby enjoys teaching gymnastics, cheernastics, and cheer prep classes at Jody's Dance Studio, where she also attends classes herself. She also helps out in the tutoring program at the First Baptist Church. Gabby is being escorted tonight by her brother, Jacob Bearden. Senior maid, Charletha Armstrong. Charletha is the daughter of Charlotte Armstrong and Michael Griffiths. Charletha is a member of the Bruce High School Marching Band Color Guard, and during band camp, she earned the Hardest Worker Award. She is a member of the Interact Club and the Beta Club at Bruce High School. Charletha has earned many awards here at Bruce High School, including the Earth Science Highest Average Award and the Human Anatomy Highest Average Award. Charletha is an honor roll student and prides herself in the fact that she has perfect attendance. Charletha is a member of Bryant Chapel MB Church, where she enjoys singing in the choir and being a member of the youth praise team. She believes that life is what you make it, so we should make the best of every day because you only get one chance. Charletha is being escorted tonight by her father, Michael Griffiths. Senior maid, Xanteria Edwards. Xanteria is the daughter of Stella Bell and Horace Edwards Jr. Xanteria has been a member of the Lady Trojan basketball team for 5 years. She is a member of the field and track team, where during this past season she advanced to the state track meet for the long jump and high jump. Xanteria has been part of the Bruce High School Marching Band Color Guard for 2 years and danced and sang with the Bruce High School Show Choir. She also played tennis for Bruce High School. Xanteria was elected silliest sophomore for her sophomore year, and this year was elected most athletic and best all around. She was on the homecoming court her freshman year. Zantaria is very active in her church, Clear Springs CME. There she is a member of the church choir and serves as captain of the church dance team. Tonight, Zantaria is being escorted by her uncle, Tony Lane. Senior maid, Molly Helms. Molly is the daughter of Scott and Tammy Helms. Molly has been a member of the Lady Trojan softball team for 5 years. She has received the Scholar Athlete Award for the last 4 years. She has served on the annual staff for 4 years, where last year she was the co-editor, and this year she is serving as editor. After serving as junior class reporter last year, she was re-elected as the senior class reporter. Her junior year, she served as student council representative and is now serving as the secretary of the student council. She has been an Upward Bound member for 4 years. Molly is a member of the Beta Club, Interact Club, where she serves as secretary, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, where she is currently serving as secretary, and the Spanish Club. She has been an honor roll and principal's honor roll all 4 years of her years at Bruce High School. When Molly is not participating in school activities, she is busy with tutoring at the First Baptist Church tutoring program and teaching Sunday school at Concord Baptist Church. Molly is also a member of the Bruce Fine Arts Juniorettes Club, where she has served as secretary for 2 years and is currently serving as president. Tonight, Molly is being escorted by her father, Scott Helms. Senior maid, Ann Claire Mullen. Ann Claire is the daughter of Rodney and Jenny Mullen and Karen and Chuck Nestor. She has been a Bruce High School cheerleader for 3 years. This year at cheerleader camp, she received one of the highest honors at camp and was named UCA All-American Cheerleader. She will be traveling to London to participate in the New Year's Day parade with all the other All-American cheerleaders. She is a member of the Spanish Club, Interact Club, and Fellowship of Christian Athletes. She was a member of the Speech and Debate team and a member of the Schooner River Review staff for 1 year. Ann Claire is part of Rural Voices and First Baptist Church Youth Group. In 10th grade, Ann Claire was crowned Most Beautiful and was recently elected Best Dressed in Bruce High School. Ann Claire is being escorted tonight by her father, Rodney Mullen. The cheerleaders will now present flowers to the homecoming maids. At this time, we would like to present last year's homecoming queen, Janae Harrelson. Janae is attending Ole Miss and is majoring in history and minoring in political science. She is a member of the Women's Glee Club and will be performing at the Ole Miss versus Arkansas State ball game. Janae will also be participating in the Mid-South Fair this year. She is employed with the National Food Service Management Institute located on the Ole Miss campus. She is a member of the BSU. Tonight, Janae is being escorted by Bruce High School Principal Mark Grubbs. And now, the moment we have all been waiting for. The 2009 Maid of Honor is Molly Helms. Our Bruce High School 2009 homecoming queen is Miss Zantaria Edwards. We would like to thank the following people for helping with our homecoming festivities. Coach Grubbs, Lauren Tudor and her classes, Amanda Gullidge and her art classes, Coach Maddox and his classes, Sandy Aaron, Jeff Patton and the BHS Student Council, the BHS Band, the BHS Cheerleaders, the Grapevine, Spratlin's Building Supply, John Wooten, and Tracy Bailey. Thank you for attending tonight's homecoming festivities, and may you always carry Trojan traditions close to your heart.
Here's the starting offense for the Walnut Wildcats. Starting at tackle,